You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
Welcome back to Where You Live. This is Gene Sullivan and guest co-host Dan Greenstein, attorney with Bernick Lifson. On today's show, we're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios, and we're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American Family Insurance agent, Kim believes that there's much more to insurance than the policy itself. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that the trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Give her a call, won't you, at 651-482-1598 and tell her Gene and Tony sent you. It's time now for a message by the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all your home business maintenance needs. Call Start to Finish at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
When you rent out your home, you automatically become a small business owner and are subject to all kinds of rules and regulations. Fair housing laws, rental licensing, CRPs, lead paint, radon, carbon dioxide, just to name a few. As someone who provides rental housing, you'll have to learn more about your community, your city council, and your law enforcement agencies than you ever imagined. But if you properly manage your business, you'll also become an important and positive partner in the community. The Minnesota Multi-Housing Association is the most comprehensive resource you'll find for everything you need to help you successfully manage your rental business. Visit mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com. Look around the website, download the free guide to successful property management, download the free brochure about the eviction process, and learn about the many ways you can turn your small business into a good business.
Now, we're talking about this story was reported from the Orlando Sentinel down in Florida. There's a gentleman in a gated, prestigious community, owes the association $100,000. And he hasn't been paying. So the association turns around and says, we're going to limit your access to some of the amenities that all other homeowners enjoy. Dan, you said, boy, this sure shows that the association's pretty upset with this guy.
Well, yes. To take away his card so he can't drive in through the gate without stopping and getting a guest pass, it isn't going to get him to pay. It sounds to me like they're just trying to annoy him back, and I don't know what that really gets them.
Well, what's interesting is that a little bit later on here in the story, it says that the association does have legal bills in this Acosta case that stand now at more than $30,000. So they've spent $30,000 in trying to get all of this settled. Apparently, the other little fact here is that Mr. Acosta is an attorney. So he's been representing himself, and so he, of course, has no fees.
I can't say I'm surprised, Gene.
And I appreciate attorneys very, very much. The work that you do for us is fantastic.
You don't have to sugarcoat it.
But I can tell you that over the years, some of the most obnoxious people that we've had to deal with, and we're talking about some over the trivial,
yes,
the minutia, are homeowners who are also attorneys, and because they can represent themselves, they can
fight and
string this out forever.
Ultimately, they're going to lose, but I've been in that situation many times where I'm working for an association. The problem person is an attorney, and it's difficult for the association because they're paying good money going after an attorney who's fighting them all of the way.
Now, let me ask you, just out of principle, this idea of this being a tool, because the association's attorney said that. He said restrictions are a debt collection tool that we are advocating, and he's advocated for several other associations because he thinks that it can also, not in all cases, but in some cases, be very effective. Do you think that this is effective at all, or do you think that this is just always a terrible idea?
Well, I think it's probably effective. I think in Minnesota, I don't think the court would allow the association to go through this process with the gate. I think the courts are pretty clear here that when you live in an association, you own your home. And while they can take away the, quote, amenities, end quote, from you when you're delinquent, they typically don't allow associations to take away your access rights. And to me, this is nothing more than an access right.
Now, part of the access that was being denied altogether was guests being able to enter the community at all to get to his home. To me, that seemed a little bit overreaching.
Over the line.
The idea of just the nuisance of not having a card reader and instead having to go through the front gate, to me, that would be okay. To me, and I'm looking at it this way. I take a look at the city. Again, let's take a look at a single-family home in any municipality or city. A person will have service of water to their homes. But if they don't pay the water bill, does not the city turn off the water to a home?
They can do that. Yes, they can.
If a person does not pay their insurance premium, does not the insurance company say, you know what, you don't get coverage anymore?
Yes, they can.
And so to me, it seems, I guess, a little double-faced here for government to say, if they were to say, well, we can do it, but you can't.
Well, don't forget,
association.
The association must have some kind of authority in their governing documents that allow them to take this sort of step, maybe not specifically with the gate, but they must have some authority to take these kind of steps when someone's delinquent. And if that is written in specifically in their documents, then I agree. The owner, when they bought the unit, they agreed to these types of procedures. So in that case, fair game. I still don't think the gate, locking the gate and forcing the owner to go through get a guest pass, I don't think that would work well in Minnesota. Hopefully we'll never find out.
Yeah, well, we don't have too many properties that are like that here in Minnesota anyway. The other thing that the association's attorney said, and I thought this was well stated. He says, I don't think of this as a draconian measure at all. He said, when you enter into a purchase contract subject to covenants and conditions and deed restrictions, you enter into a contract with everyone else in the community. Their fortunes are impacted based on whether you comply.
Exactly.
I think that is, in a nutshell, what is missing with legislators sometimes when they are taking a look at the financial impact with and the dynamics with an association and an individual homeowner.
Oh, sure.
I think they're taking a look at the individual, but they're forgetting that, yes, what you're proposing might seem more humane and a little bit more genteel for this individual homeowner, but you're also got to think about the other 99, the other people in the association.
Especially when it comes to delinquencies, because remember, every dollar that someone does not pay as part of their assessments is a dollar that either the other owners in the association have to cover, or it's a dollar that doesn't go into the fund to fix the things that the association's responsible for doing.
Well, you're right. People complain all the time, where's my money being spent? Well, it's not that your money isn't being spent. It is, but because other money wasn't collected, there isn't money to spend on some of those things.
That's exactly right. And especially in this economy where you've got a number of units in foreclosure, you've got a number of homeowners simply stopping their payments and walking away from their homes, it's very difficult for an association to stay on budget, to stay flush, and to put away money into their reserve account for future improvements.
Exactly. And a lot of people, I think, don't understand or realize that by and large, one of the reasons I think HOAs have increased in their popularity is because they've been some of the most economical, affordable housing anywhere in the country. And because of that, you've got people that are, how about the elderly or others that are on fixed income as well. And when you have some people who aren't paying their fair proportionate amount for the expenses of the association, like you said, it puts a burden on them. And I think in some cases in this economy causes other people to go into bankruptcy.
Well,
and to fail.
I agree with you, Gene. And we're both kind of singing the same song here.
Yeah.
And one of the problems I have with that Senate bill that we were talking about earlier, 1308, and the thinking of the senators that proposed that in the state of Minnesota is that they're taking away the ability of the good association members, the ones that follow the rules, the ones that follow the covenants, the ones that pay their dues. They're taking away their ability to have flush finances in the association, and so they don't have to cover the fair share of anyone else. It's very difficult in this economy, and what they should be doing is finding a way to encourage people to be able to make their payments and stay in their homes.
Yeah. And last point I guess I'd like to make is that, again, we're talking about something that's a private contractual agreement.
Exactly.
And to me, it seems like the state government is overstepping their reach and getting involved in private contracts. Nobody put a gun to anybody's head who lives in a homeowner association. They chose to live there and were given the opportunity.
And one final point, Gene, when you buy in an association, the homeowners association board has no say on who can buy the unit and become a member. It's not like a cooperative in many states where the board can review the finances of the buyer. In Minnesota, you have no say.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's all the time we have for today's show. Dan, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure,
being our
Gene.
co-host. Folks, have a great weekend. We'll see you here next weekend on Where You Live.